Gary, can you give an example of a major brand that cared more than their competition and it led to a positive business impact?
In the book, The Thank You Economy, I've got like 4 or 5 case studies of that. So it happens all the time. I think that more importantly than like a specific example, like let's say an AJ Bombers, which is a fantastic burger shop in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where they not only cared more, they leveraged things like Twitter and Facebook, and that's really where the combination happens. It's not just about customer service, it's what happens when you do customer service at the highest level and you layer what the dynamics of social media have created by extending that word through the word of mouth economy. Could have been called that. So, I would say that they're a great case study. I think companies like Zappos have been well documented in caring enough, and so I'm excited about many companies doing it well, and I think there's a ton of examples out there.
What will happen to brands that aren't as caring and neglect those precious interactions with customers online?
I firmly believe that those are the companies that are going to lose. I am convinced that there will be companies that look a whole lot like bookstores do to what Amazon did to them by innovating off a big culture shift. The internet came and Amazon came along and did, e-commerce in a category, and a lot of people disrespected it and didn't think things would happen there. Every time you underestimate your competition or a culture shift, you have an opportunity to lose. I think there will be enormous loss. I think there are going to be some iconic brands that go out of business because of their lack of awareness and speed in getting into what the thank you economy is. I gotta be honest with you, there will be a blockbuster video in this generation of this culture shift in this new web called the thank you economy. So Blockbuster should have never allowed Netflix to happen. If they innovated first, they had the brand, Netflix never gets off the ground, they win. I think similarly, the relationships that consumers are going to be having with brands are going to impact some companies in a very negative way and some in a very positive way.
One of the biggest obstacles people complain about is how much time they have to use social networks to build their brand and connect with their customers. What are your tips?
Spend less time on stuff that isn't as important. Invest. So, parents complain that they can't hang out with their friends anymore when they have kids. And the ones that kind of try to do the old school thing and hang out don't put their time into their kids, and they don't raise kids that are as good as parents who did. If you don't spend time and allocate resources towards caring about community and the consumer, you're going to lose. And this is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And so I'm very fascinated by, and when I say you're going to lose, you're going to have diminished returns. You're going to lose customer base to your competitors. You're not going to have as much lifetime value around that consumer. And so to me, it's throw resources at it. Spend more time on it, hire people, hire agencies, do whatever you have to do. Spend maybe a couple less bucks on a TV ad or on wasting it on people that don't do anything in middle management, and reallocate those funds towards something that's effective.
Please define the humanization of business and why you see this as a trend now.
The humanization of business is something I'm really thinking about. I think we're in the early stages of what happened to the dog in the 1950s. The animal, the dog, went from being a backyard creature in the 1950s to being in the bedroom in 2011. It went through the house into the bedroom now, right? It's an incredible shift to look at how animals have been humanized. Clothes on them, feeding them food that's better than your own food. That's a big culture shift. That's changed over the last 50 years. And in my opinion, we're about to have that happen with businesses and logos. I firmly believe that we're going to have relationships, that we're going to have intimate conversations with brands. And it sounds weird, but we know there's human beings behind those brands. And I think that I think it's going to be very fascinating to people to see the kind of conversation they have with a Nike, or they have with a Poland Spring, or a Starbucks. I think they're going to be blown away by how we engage with these brands in 10 years and how we feel about them emotionally.
What happens when brands fail to act in real time and delay their responses to customers over hours, days, or weeks?
I'm a big believer in hitting the response time very quickly. It's a big principle of the company VaynerMedia that I'm a part of. I just believe that when you answer quicker, it matters. How do you guys feel when somebody responds to an email 4 days later when it was something pretty important. You feel like they're blowing you off, or you're in a different bucket. You're not as important in comparison to when you send an email and somebody responds immediately. You just know your context in that relationship, and you value those people more. There's no different in the way that you're going to value a business that way. If they take care of it, if they respond, whether you're leaving something pro or con, and they respond quick and with true intent and emotion, you're going to be in a very different place with that brand or logo, and I think that's important.